Funnily, we did not have a dedicated washroom for women. It was a building with 45 men. Okay. And initially when I joined, we were 3 women in the office. Manhandling happened.
Why did people not like you?
Probably because I was very disciplined. Second wave saw a lot of deaths.
Yeah, unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, there were a lot of deaths and it was happening right in front of your eyes. Livelihood in these rural areas have become unreliable. All their children have become cab drivers. There's always a brighter tomorrow.
Okay.
You can always, pick yourself up and start moving.
Right. Hello everyone, welcome to the Good Vibes Only podcast. Today's episode is extra special because we've finally officially moved into our new studio and I really love the place and hope you all also feel the same. Well, today's guest for the 9th episode of the Good Vibes Only podcast is someone whose story is of courage, clarity, and most importantly, constant evolution. She's someone who pursued her career in journalism, then moved to academia, and now in the development sector. Her journey reflects life's unpredictability, but today we will talk about how she transitioned into these phases with grace and purpose. So guys, let's welcome Miss Akshatha, who will brief us about her journey from pursuing media to academia and now to the development sector. So please welcome Akshatha, who will guide us and take us through her journey. So let's straight dive into the conversation. Hi Akshatha, how are you doing?
Thank you so much for inviting me today and I'm doing okay, thank you.
So how do you feel? How do you like our new studio vibe?
It is really pretty. I am already loving it.
We've made sure to ask our every guest how do they feel because when I started this podcast, I made sure that whosoever comes feels good from inside, right? And that's how we have to keep the good vibes rolling, and hence the name of the podcast.
Sure, this is very homely.
Okay, so let's begin. So tell me, how was your childhood like?
My childhood was it is if I think about my childhood even today, it's a mixed bag of emotions. So I grew up in a faraway place in Mysuru. It was not even like a city kind of an environment. I grew up amidst spacious environment. There was a ground, a cricket ground, and a lot of empty spaces in and around my house, and I did not have friends to go out and play with.
Okay.
I grew up with my older sister. She's 8 years older to me. So I was just a tiny dot at home and she was already in her high school, and then so basically I grew up with no friends, but I used to play with my toys and just be.
So you were an introvert, is it?
Mostly I was an introvert, and then
You liked that being home?
very much. Probably that's how I am even today. I feel very comfortable when I am in my own space. But soon I started going to tuitions, I met friends, I also understood how it is to go out and actually be there, enjoy. So it was good. A lot of good friends, bad friendships, you don't know how things are. But then one good thing about my friendship is that one good thing about my childhood is that I am friends with my schoolmates.
Okay.
Even after literally it's been 20 years.
That's very rare. I mean,
Since I moved out of my school, not 20 years, but around 15 years since I moved out of my school, but it still feels like I have friendships intact. I have been friends with the same person who used to sit next to me in my school. So yeah, that's how my childhood was, mostly going around in the streets of Mysore. I still remember vividly. Every Sunday, my father used to take me to this market in Mysore, in the center of the city. I was this little. I would hold his hand and walk into that. It was 100-year-old market, and then there would be a friend, my father's friend, who would sell tomatoes.
Okay.
And the reward of going with him to the market was one juicy ripe tomato.
Yeah.
I would come back home eating it, and that made my weekend.
I mean, now you are in Bangalore. You've shifted to Bangalore. The very concept of weekend has changed, and usually a lot of people like to go out, party, or go to a theater, watch a movie. Back then, as you said, these vivid memories when it comes to you collecting tomatoes, eating it right away, that made your weekend. So that's very rare these days, right?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't get to feel that in Bangalore at all, right? The moment you step out of your house, you're already frustrated with the traffic. And the one distinction that I can feel between Mysore, a small town, and Bangalore is that there is no sense of rootedness or belonging.
Okay.
Like,
till now, do you feel that?
Yeah, I mean, here people, no matter what, it's so fast. It is so fast pacing. Everybody is in a hurry. There's barely any room for connections, meaningful connections. I mean, it is purely my opinion, but you see a lot of people on social media talking about Bangalore. They say that the city makes you lonely somewhere. Because these are the kind of connections that we miss, right? Unless and until you have a really good bunch of friends around you, everything has to be meticulously planned in the city. Right?
But I think it has also to do with time, right? Nobody these days, Bangalore or anywhere, any metropolitan city or any city for that matter, even now I think Mysuru has also become a little busy these days.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel the city has grown so much, and sometimes it does feel like it is almost resembling Bangalore. I get scared when I think of it, but then it does.
I think evolution.
I don't know if it is a positive one or a negative one. But there are traffic jams in Mysore also.
Yeah, these days, yes.
Yeah, that's scary.
Yes. So, while I was giving your introduction, our audience has already come to know that you've transitioned from being a media person to teaching journalism, now to the development sector. You've had quite a journey. So, I want to know, what did this journey teach you?
This journey taught me to be adaptive. No matter what the situation is, you just have to, dust yourself up and keep moving. It hasn't been a very simple, point A to point B, point B to point C transition. It is my problem, or one of my strengths, is that I give my 100% to each. Wherever I am working, I try to give my 100%, and then if it doesn't work out, I just become heartbroken, and then it takes time for me to adapt myself to another profession. But then
has that changed now? Are you more adaptable now?
Sort of.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, one thing that I have constantly understood is that you don't stop learning.
Right.
At any given point of time, you don't stop learning. From one job to another, or from one, you're just being a project manager and you jump to become you get a promotion, you become a program manager. That doesn't mean that you stop learning. Right? No matter where you go and no matter what kind of profession you pursue, you always have to learn. And if you have the willpower to learn, this transition becomes even more easier. Yeah, smoother and easier. So, and if above everything, it has just made me more and more resilient.
Right.
Because it was never a
plan.
Cakewalk.
Okay. So, because we plan things, right? After school, I have to go to this college, and after college, I have a dream job. So that I think that is very important, that we learn from these experiences that life is not smooth and it's very unpredictable.
Yeah.
So I think our audience will get to know more about this from your experiences that you've had. So I want to ask you, were you always inclined towards pursuing journalism, or was it something that you just grew over the time? And how does your education, look like?
So everybody in my family has either pursued engineering or BCom, BSc, something to do with science or business. And I'm the black sheep of the family, to be honest. I wanted to pursue arts. So because I was always into if somebody was looking at an image with a tree or something, I would have found something very distinct and creative in it.
You had that eye for detail.
Yeah.
Right.
So I always loved reading literature. I had picked up very early in my life. Loved reading books. I was the when I was in my school, probably in my 10th grade, I was the only person who had read more than 20 books in a year in the library. They have a record, right? So I liked reading, and even at home, we barely had any TV serials as entertainment. Okay. Early in the morning, 6 o'clock, news channels would be running. And newspaper was one thing. We fought for newspaper. That, when I was growing up, probably in 2007 and 8, Vijay Karnataka, if I can take the name of the newspaper. So, Vijay Karnataka or transition in terms of design, layout, type of content, the people who, people who would write columns in the newspaper, it saw a transition, and the sales of Vijay Karnataka and the readability and everything went up. So it was talk of the town, and everybody started subscribing to Vijay Karnataka for the columns that appeared and really good political pieces. So my family also, on Saturday morning, we would fight for newspapers. Who would pick it and read the columns first, right? And then we would discuss it, and it was the same with my school friends also. The one that I'm still friends with, we would discuss going to school as a 13, 14-year-old. We would go and discuss about what was happening in the government, or what was happening in the country and how things were changing.
That's pretty early.
Yeah. So.
Because nowadays everything is available on our mobile screen. So you don't have that knack of reading these days.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people still like reading books, as someone who's an avid reader, I like the smell of new books. So that is completely a different ball game, right?
Yeah. So I still remember my mother's favorite news anchor was Zeta Jacob. He was there was a channel called Headlines Today. Okay, we would watch that, and we would tune into so many news channels, and those people were like inspiration growing up. So when I had the opportunity to choose what I wanted to pursue, I chose journalism.
Nice, interesting.
Journalism, public administration, and English literature was a part of my graduation. So I didn't even give it any thought. I did not score poorly. Okay, when the college principal and the administration department, when they saw my marks card, they suggested taking admitting me to science degrees, but I was insistent them on admitting me to the arts courses. They were surprised. They was like, why are you wasting my father was there, he was still contemplating. He asked me if I wanted to change my mind at that point, but I said no.
You were adamant.
Yeah, I was adamant. I wanted to pick journalism. I wanted to pursue a career. Yeah.
So after pursuing journalism, did you land your job, a dream job where you just spoke about Headlines Today, you had your own inspirations and everything? Did you land your dream job as such after graduating from college?
After graduating from college, by the time I could graduate, I had made friends with a lot of journalists in Mysuru, because they would frequent colleges for events. We would go out, especially when I was pursuing my masters in University of Mysuru. Our daily job was to pick up camera, tripod, and go to some new event and shoot it, come back, edit it, and we would not know what to do with the videos later. We did not have options like YouTube channel or anything back then. But then we just had plenty of footages. We would just
Keep it.
I still remember 3 in the morning. We would go and shoot how newspapers were distributed. You know, or like 10, 12 in the night, we would still be there in the campus editing videos and everything. So I had made connections with a lot of journalists. In the final year, we, like everybody, mandatory internship. You have to pursue an internship somewhere. So I still remember all our classmates. We had packed our bags and came to Bangalore one day.
Okay.
And from morning till the evening, we visited every newspaper office possible.
Okay.
And they would barely offer us internships.
Even I did the same, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so but at the end of the day, none of us had got internships. We
Okay.
were disappointed. We did not know. So we had started making Plan B. Okay, there were a couple of small scale newspapers in Mysuru who would issue internship letters.
Okay.
Okay. We had made that jugaad, but I didn't want to get into this business. So went back, and right at the moment I got to know about an opportunity in Times of India.
Okay.
So the next day I spoke to the chief editor. He asked me to come to the office. It's exactly on this day.
Is it?
In 2017, yeah.
Oh.
I walked into his office.
Okay.
He said, "Hi, hello," exchanged greetings, and then he asked me to see me 2 days later. And talking to me, he said, "Fine." He agreed for internship. They were actually looking for somebody like a stranger
Okay.
who could continue there.
Okay. So was it kind of the offer was kind of a permanent employment, or
Not exactly. Strangers never got any perks of a normal reporter.
yeah.
But
kind of a freelancing.
yeah, no, I was bound by a contract with Bennett and Coleman company. So I instantly agreed.
Yeah.
Like, who wouldn't want to
Want
miss
to.
an opportunity at Times of India,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I showed up in the Times of India office on June 23rd, and then he wanted me to start working the next moment.
Oh, okay.
I said, I had my friends waiting downstairs. I was like, boss, I have my friends waiting downstairs. So I said I would come back and see him on July 1st, and I said I would join on July 1st. Said, fine. Yeah, and I don't know if I can call it a dream job. It was a dream job until I started working, but then it wasn't a dream job. Yeah.
And even in college, we were told that newsrooms are very different from classrooms. Whatever you learn in the classroom is just the beginning, not even the beginning.
Yeah.
Just the tip. So when you actually enter the newsroom, you understand. Even I have a lot of times questioned myself that, okay, this is something that I really want to do or not. You have these questions, right?
Yeah.
Because I wanted to become a TV reporter, and then when COVID stuck, all this happened, colleges got shut and everything. Then you realize that, you start feeling less. You don't feel enough.
Yeah.
But then, as you said, you move ahead in life, you just get adapt. You get adapt easily. So that's, I think, the beauty of transitions that you've been through.
Sure, it is.
So after graduating, you continued there as a stranger, right?
Yeah.
For how long?
So 2.5 years precisely. Funnily, when I joined on July 1st, I went to office around 9 in the morning. He asked me to stay back until 7:30. It was my first day of your career. I was so scared and nervous. I still remember I came home crying, and I didn't show up the next day.
Oh, okay. Why?
I was scared. As you mentioned, it was nothing like what we learned in the classroom, right? It was very different. All of a sudden, I felt like I forgot all words. Conveniently, I forgot the vocabulary in English. I was very nervous. I took a day off immediately the day next day, and then after on the third day I had no other option.
Yeah.
I had to submit internship certificates to my college. Said fine, I am here to learn. So it was like the initial 3 months were grilling sessions.
Of course.
No week off. I had to work all the 7 days. And then 9 o'clock, 9:30, the chief editor would show up. I would sit next to him. He would teach me stuff. I would go out, bring back reports, write, rewrite. 1 o'clock, I would be back in the office with reports of whatever events that I attended. And until 6 o'clock, I would write, rewrite, learn the vocabulary, because every newspaper has its own
Absolutely.
style of
Sheet.
writing. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so I did not go prepared. So I had to learn it then and there, and then it became easy. Made a lot of friends, and the one month of internship was everything to learn about journalism. Whatever I hadn't learned in the 5 years of college
Pursuing journalism.
yeah, pursuing journalism, I had learned it in 1 month of internship. So
Right.
then, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the newsroom actually teaches you what journalism is like.
Yeah, I don't think any classroom can teach that kind of an experience.
Absolutely. While I was pursuing my internship, my editor told me that this is a field which demands a lot from you. So make up your mind, if you really want to get into it, give your heart and soul and everything. It's not as easy as it looks like, and not fancy at all.
And it is not easy for women.
Absolutely, I agree to this to some extent, because as you said, when you log out at 9, you have a lot other concerns than men, right?
Yeah.
You have to go home, you have to think what would be the means to commute to home. That's one question. And doesn't matter whether it is safe or not, you still as a woman, you will have some apprehensions, right?
Yeah, I mean, when I was working there, it was a building with 45 men. Okay. And initially when I joined, we were 3 women in the office against 45. Funnily, we did not have a dedicated washroom for women.
Oh, okay.
Every time I had to go to the loo, if it was occupied, you had no other choice but to wait. So I still remember most of the time when I was on my period, I have gone home to change my,
What?
Yeah, because one, there were no dustbins in the washroom to dispose your sanitary napkins. So, and you had to wait. Some things you can't wait, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes you just can't. So, and
nobody will understand this.
yeah, nobody will understand it. And by the time the time it was like almost before leaving, I was the only woman in the office. There was like 45 men and I'm the only woman. And even the environment outside, you have to travel to different locations for
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't feel safe at all. I still remember there was an event. There was an inauguration ceremony. It was late in the evening. Chief Minister had to come and inaugurate. Okay, we were all looking for. There were a couple of women, like 4, 5 us, and 50, 60 reporters, news reporters, and TV channel anchors, and everybody.
Kind of a press
Cameras.
conference.
Yeah, he was supposed to
Brief
inaugurate
us.
and brief the media
Right.
about the event, right? When the chief minister stepped out after inaugurating, everybody rushed to him. And I did not go into that crowd at all, but I could see women coming with, the dress was not in the place, hair was all out, people were, struggling, manhandling happened. And it is so easy because the crowd,
Yeah,
you can't compete with people like that.
Yeah.
So
Cannot, wrestle with other people, right?
Exactly. There have been instances when my parents have questioned me about this style of working.
But that's how it is.
Yeah, I was passionate about it. There is in 2018 there was severe floods in Kerala and Coorg, and I was sent to go I was sent to cover that.
Hmm.
Okay, I saw landslide happening right in front of my eyes, and my parents were worried. They were
Of
like,
course.
This kind of job we don't want. You know, even if they were telling me even if I sat at home they wouldn't mind, but they did not want me to risk myself. I was still passionate. Yeah.
I know, I mean, it's altogether a different ball game to make your parents understand that this is how it is. And thankfully, today we have separate washrooms and things have changed for the good.
Sure.
There are cabs. There are cabs, there are editors who actually, I have been with people who, called me, asked me whether I reached home or not. So yeah, situations change, but back then, I know you would have gone through all this.
Yeah, it is, we are equally passionate, right? So ensuring our safety just makes us contribute to the sector better. I probably don't think this was the situation in Bangalore, but Mysuru, it must have been the case. But I'll be really happy if things have changed for the better.
Because Bangalore, you have metro, which is still available till 11, 12 in the night, and I honestly feel it's much safer. And be it autos or cabs or anything, you have an option to share your ride, and it's much safer in Bangalore, I feel.
Yeah.
Even the work culture and everything, people would know where you are going. And even though it's a very remote area, there are still street lights. But I understand back then Mysuru, maybe,
Yeah, it was also the female population which was there in the sector out there reporting. But it was way too less.
Less, yes.
Now
wherever you roll your eyes, there are females heading and leading a team. So we've come forward and thankfully hope for getting things even better in the future.
Yeah.
So we know now that you've worked as a stranger in the Times of India. Then how did you jump into teaching?
So it was before COVID. I had to relocate to Bangalore for personal reasons.
Okay.
And when I relocated, I was looking for a job.
But
COVID happened. Everybody or journalists were the first ones to be probably fired.
Laid off. So cost cutting and all of that.
Cost cutting and everything. All of a sudden, every sector you looked at was firing people left, right, and center. There was
Even
no job
getting an internship was getting very difficult.
At that point, I sat at home. I was never used to. I was
always working.
Always working. I did not know how to sit at home and do
especially
what.
I think with journalists, it's all the more difficult because you are always on your toes. You don't sit at home idly. Right?
Absolutely. On Sunday or Saturday or any day, like it's a public holiday, you're all the more busy.
Yeah.
Because there are some other events associated with
Absolutely.
So thankfully, a friend of mine was working in Acharya, had to leave for personal reasons.
Okay.
And then she asked me if I could interview for the job.
Absolutely.
I did, and then I landed the job. Initially, they told me it would be online.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, fine.
Unless and until you're paying me, then
yeah.
Because even we were in college back then, and I used to hear from my parents that businesses are getting tough, people are getting laid off, IT, journalists, everybody, each and everybody were just blindly just laid off. So yes, I know that would have been a difficult stage. How was that tenure? How was teaching like? Because you've pursued a career in journalism, from being a hardcore stranger, reporting on issues, events and everything. How does teaching feel like?
Teaching was fun. I brought in a lot of my personal experiences into the classroom. So whenever I was teaching reporting mainly, so I would give my personal instances. Sometimes I would show my reports, interviews, and explain to my students how I prepped for that event.
Right.
So it was mostly sharing personal experiences, and my students were like 3 or 4 years younger to me at
Yeah.
that point.
Okay.
So it was more of a friend circle sitting and understanding certain subjects. I wanted to bring that practicality into the classroom and not just stick to the books. So we would watch TV, we would watch debates, we would pick up random geopolitical topics and present views about things.
Opinions.
Yeah, opinions. I wanted students to think beyond definitions. So it was unconventional. For a lot of people, it felt like I was demanding. There were a couple of people who did not like the way I was, managing the classroom. It's always there, a part and parcel of your professional career.
Why do you think that happened? I mean, why did people not like you? Because as you said, a lot of your students were not that younger to you. So they technically, I'm assuming, would have formed a good bond with you, right? So why did people not like you?
Probably because I was very disciplined.
Okay.
I wanted people to stick to deadlines because I was preparing them to become future journalists. You were late to an event by 5 minutes. You have missed 5 important things that might have happened there, right? You can't go back in time and do a report. So that way I was demanding. I wanted students to do better.
Because I know where you are coming from. While I was interning with a national daily, there was Chitra Sante in Bangalore, and I was supposed to reach at 10 in the morning. I reached at 10:30 because initially when you actually step into an internship or a job for that matter, it's just too overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I had never seen Chitra Sante in my life. So seeing colors all around me just consumed me so much. So the chief minister has already spoken, he's already left the field, and then I am entering without any knowledge of what has ever happened. Because as a newbie, you do not have friends.
Correct.
You do not have journalists who would come and tell you, okay, this is what has happened, you can take my copy.
Yeah.
That will clearly not happen.
Yeah.
So I was doomed that day, but that was a lesson to me that every event that you're assigned to, you have to reach prior 15-20 minutes. Then talk to people, understand more about the event. So I know why this discipline is needed.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I had a similar incident. Third day or fourth day into my internship, I was late to an event by 5 minutes.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it was just a bite of newly appointed director of Rangayana in Mysuru, who was supposed to brief the media about what she's going to do for the next 5 years. I was very new to the field. I met somebody on my way. I said hi, hello, chit-chatting. I was late. And I missed her bite. I mean, she was addressing the media. I missed it.
Get it. Yeah.
I went back and got real bad scoldings from my chief editor. And I was grilled and I was disciplined at work. Right? Those 2.5 years of my career in the Times of India, I was disciplined in many instances. Like if you go and ask somebody for their name and if you miss their initials or if you write wrong spelling, gone, right?
That shows unprofessional behavior.
So this is the kind of attitude I came to entered the classroom. And people who are used to chilling or not paying too much attention to what is being taught, they did not like me generally. Like I had a lot of conflicts that way, but thankfully they have grown up to become professionals. They understand what I meant back then. So it's been 3 years since I quit teaching, but I still have my students coming back to me, even
So
for
nice.
they talk to me. They for any kind of help, professional, personal. They still not rely, but they count me in.
Absolutely.
So that means a lot.
Right. So I think it's a win-win. I mean,
Absolutely.
Whatever happened, whatever the conflicts were, it's still very evident that you're close to your students, right?
Yeah.
So you started teaching during COVID and were asked to take online classes, right? How was that shift?
Oh, online. I was new into teaching and I did not know if. So Acharya had a setup. The college that I was teaching in, they had a setup. you could not see students.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if they were paying any attention. So, but I went about teaching, and then when we moved to the classroom, it became all the more difficult, especially during the second wave of COVID. We were asked to take classes, resume classes. It was no longer online, and exams were going on. We had to monitor. We have to be the invigilator while the students were writing exams. Sometimes it was so difficult because I had to go back to my parents, right? Go back home to my parents, and we had COVID students writing exam, primary contacts writing exam. You had to go sign their paper, collect their paper. There was a lot of physical touch involved, and you were at the risk. I remember, and probably every week we were subjected to COVID testing, and you would never know when the results would be
Positive, because that was like every second individual in the room is COVID positive, and that spread. Oh my God, we were terrified to get back physically into classes, and writing exams, big deal.
It was also the time, more than COVID first wave, second wave saw a lot of deaths.
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, there were a lot of deaths, and it was happening right in front of your eyes. But you did not have a choice to step back.
It was the Delta variant, I think, that caused a lot of deaths.
So you had to be there. I could not answer my parents as to why I was going to college. Every time, somehow they were not happy with I'm putting everybody at risk. Coming back to family.
Of course.
Yeah.
No matter if you change your clothes outside or whatever it is, you are anyway entering the house, entering the very boundary of your house, right? Yeah. So now that we know you from a stranger to getting into full-time teaching, let's address the elephant in the room. Now you are associated with the development sector. What is it? Our audience may not know, even I am not aware of it. If you could brief us about that, what is it like and how did that shift happen? Because from being a journalist to, getting associated with the development sector now, it's quite a big shift.
Yeah.
So how did that pan out?
So when I was with Times of India, I would report about what has happened, any development work or any positive thing that has happened, or any progressive thing, anything that is supporting the people, on the ground, grassroots people. I would just write about them, and I was not a part of the process.
Okay.
Right? So that was satisfying, but I still wanted to be a part of something that would actually bring change in the society.
Okay.
So when I moved from journalism, I did not want to go anywhere but take up a career in development sector. I always wanted to end up in an NGO.
Okay.
So when I started looking for a job after teaching, I looked specifically in this sector, and then I landed a role in a research and advocacy organization in Bangalore itself. There I was involved in preparing communication and outreach material for whatever research, developmental research that we did. All the evaluation of government schemes and policies, working closely with the policy makers. So that's how I got involved. I worked there developing content. I understood what public policy was. It was public policy and advocacy. What is public policy? How is it drafted? What does it mean to bureaucrats? What does it mean to politicians? What does a public policy mean to the public actually?
Okay.
So all of it I understood, and there was a lot of advocacy also. We were closely working with women SAGs, skill institutes. I was also involved in writing the skill policy for the government of Karnataka back then.
Okay.
So it was.
So now, you are not confined to only headlines and bylines.
Yeah.
You're doing almost everything, right? Researching, writing, developing, and everything. So how does that feel?
It felt good because there was a tangible change that you could see. There was a change that you could see right in front of your eyes. Even today, wherever the organization that I'm associated with, we work with farmers at the grassroots level. So farmers and small and marginalized farmers across India. So you are a part of that change.
Right.
You are a part of.
Absolutely.
If you are alleviating a section of section from poverty, if you are able to let them earn if you are able to contribute a little to their income, bring some change in their life, I'm really happy, and it is very satisfactory.
So what does your current organization do basically?
So we are an ecosystem enabler, and we are working with small and marginalized farmers across India to alleviate them from poverty by connecting them with many ecosystem points, stakeholders, and also the main focus is on renewable energy. How do you bridge the gap that exists in the society with technologies that are powered by renewable energy, mainly solar. And we work with farmers.
Is it direct working with
Yes, it is directly working with the farmers. So we work with champion farmers. We identify farmers who are doing really well with their livelihood, and then we work with them to understand their best practices, take learnings from them, and take it to many more farmers. We work closely with the governments, financial institutions. So and I'm a part of the innovations team. So here I am mostly working with different technology vendors and institutions to develop technology that is suitable for a small and marginalized farmer. In India, energy gap is visible, way too visible. We see we have electrified. We see that people claim that energy access is available to everybody and anybody in the country, but it is not true. So
someone who has not yet worked will not understand, right? We take oil consumption, everything very lightly, but now everywhere there's a war-like situation. You don't know whether you'll be able to get that, say petroleum, crude oil, or whatever is necessary for a living. You may not get that.
And it is too expensive, and it is again contributing to climate change, right? This consumption, somewhere or the other, this is one of the biggest contributors of climate change, contributing factor to climate change. So we want to address that also, and prepare farmers to be resilient towards what is going to happen in next 5 years. Because you already see temperatures going up. There's a lot of more than us, probably a farmer who is there in some remote part of the country is getting more affected by climate change. We don't consider the farmers, challenges and problems into consideration. We don't take his or her problems into consideration, but it is high time we address it. We are able to afford an AC and sit at home, chill, probably with a Coke or a beer on a Sunday evening. But climate change is affecting. It is changing crop patterns. It is forest is slowly vanishing. A lot of people are displaced. You see the number of people who are migrating from rural areas, to urban areas. Urban area is so cluttered because the large section of people, they are slowly migrating, looking for jobs.
There's no space or area for the seepage of the groundwater. And for that, last year even Bangalore suffered a lot. A lot of multiplexes and apartment complexes faced extreme acute shortage of water.
So this is like Bangalore or any metropolitan city for that matter doesn't have space anymore to hold up the to house the population that is flowing, right? Because livelihood in these rural areas have become unreliable due to a lot of changes, a lot of
climate
factors,
issues,
and climate change is one of the major contributors.
If there's a flood, the crops get smushed, and if they don't sell the crops, how will they live? How will they earn a living? Right?
So a year and a half ago, I was in Rajasthan for a work assignment. I was in Bikaner, Jaisalmer area, speaking with pastoralists there. all their children have become cab drivers. Most of their children have become cab drivers in Bangalore or any metropolitan cities. Even though they own a lot of land there, they have camels, they can build a livelihood there. They're still migrating because the persistent challenge is there. The groundwater in Rajasthan has gone in
the temperature has risen.
It is not reliable. It is not sufficient for them. They never know when they'll run out of water.
Right.
In the northeast, you see, fortunately or unfortunately, in Bangalore, you go to any restaurant, you see a lot of people,
from the
northeast region, right? There's a lot of resources there or opportunities there, but again, it is coupled by a lot of challenges.
I think the money flow is also too less there. Even though you are a coffee plantation owner or anything, you have the resource, but to properly make use of the resource is another challenge.
It's also how the concentration of money is in India.
Distribution is very uneven.
Distribution is very uneven. Some people are getting too much.
Yes.
Yeah. And there are people who are just struggling. It might be, the the landscape of the city that is not supportive, or the kind of aspirations that they have. It's not there, infrastructure wise or anything. So there's a lot of uneven distribution of wealth. The more you dwell into it, you feel like it's a rabbit hole.
I know. So, do you enjoy your work now?
Absolutely, I think.
Love it.
Because
you're traveling. You're also meeting people, new people, interviewing them, helping them, trying to make a change. I think whatever a journalist probably could not do or won't be able to do in an organization, because of course you have your own set of deadlines to meet. This role is very exciting, right?
Yeah, it is. I mean, like I said, it is tangible change that you see right in front of your eyes. And I love to meet new people. It gives me a lot of opportunity to travel and meet new people, understand their customs, traditions, lifestyle, the kind of food is there across the country, and people are really sweet.
Okay.
People are so good to you. We are probably, with the influence of social media, we are always told to see the negative aspects of the people.
Hating each other.
Yeah. But when I traveled, when I have visited the households of people, they have served food with their own hands.
So much goodness to see.
So much goodness to see, and it is absolutely positive. I feel like whenever I interact with people from they come from different walks of life, I feel like my problems are nothing. Right? I feel there are a lot of instances when I have felt like I'm privileged.
Very few people, actually, I mean, we are privileged to at least have an air conditioner.
Exactly.
Have at least 2 squares of meal a day. People don't get to have food at all.
So there's a lot of goodness out there, and it is I have been a positive person more than I was ever before.
I think that's the best change that you've been through amidst all these transitions.
Yeah.
So that actually brings me to the next question. As someone who's navigated multiple careers, what advice would you like to give it to somebody who feels stuck? Someone who's thinking that I'm not enough, or why is this happening to me? I dreamt of something else, but I'm not able to fulfill that. What do you have to say about that?
See, there's always a brighter tomorrow.
Okay.
You can always, pick yourself up and start moving.
Right.
Initial few days, it will be probably, it will not be a stable place to be, but we will all figure it out. I have felt stuck. I have always felt. I mean, there have been instances when I have felt like a victim. I have felt like, why this happened. I thought all bad things happen just to me. But then there is brighter side of life as well.
I
Right?
think everybody goes through that phase. Right?
Yeah, you just have to keep going. I think every day you just wake up and consider it as a new day and give your 100%.
Right.
I know it is very difficult to give your 100% when nothing is
Working.
You feel like you're swimming against the tide, but then probably just holding on to whatever you have, because it's going to settle down
One day or the other.
one day or the other. It has taken me 6 years, or rather 7 difficult years of professional career. I'm juggling from one job to another. Every time I felt like this is better, something worse has happened. But now I have found my peace.
You found your calling finally.
Yeah, so it is like that. For some people it takes 6 years. For some people it just might be 6 days. You just have to hold on to whatever dreams you have, and eventually things will happen. Somebody told me this thing: don't wait for things to fall into place. Just pray that you will have the energy to put things into place.
Okay.
Right?
Beautiful thought.
So you don't have to wait for something magic to unfold. Right? You just have to have that courage to go and fix things yourself.
If not this, something or the other
Yeah,
will happen.
absolutely, absolutely. And the moment you feel stuck, get out of the place. There's no better day to get out of the place than today.
Right.
Just get out and.
Very few people actually tell this because these days, as you know, the market is not good. Economic, there's recession everywhere, and jobs. There are, there's job scarcity, and a lot of people are being laid off. So coming from someone who's transitioned into so many phases, it's very important for the audience as well as for us to understand that it's okay to let go sometimes. It's okay to leave if you are thinking that this is something that is not working. Try as long as you can, but if you're feeling very stuck and things are not working, just let it go. Let it go and breathe for a while.
Yeah, it's very important because we don't know. Our body is silently absorb these things.
Absolutely.
Right?
Bad energy.
Bad energy is the if you're just if something bad happens at your workplace and you're still stuck. You're compelled to work because of various reasons.
Yeah, I do understand some people do not have the luxury to quit jobs.
Yeah, but then it just adds on to the trauma.
Absolutely.
And if not today, 5 years down the line, your body will reflect it. I have felt it personally. Whenever I have had bad days at work, my body shows it. Either I have a really bad stomach issue for like a month or two, or different kind of stress. When I was stressful, I lost a lot of hair. I always thought it was Bangalore's water, but sometimes
Stress adds up.
Stress adds up, and stress slowly eats away your lifespan.
Yeah, I've heard from a lot of people say that. Yeah.
So you never know. We see a lot of young people suddenly dying out of a cardiac arrest, getting hospitalized.
Very heartbreaking.
It's very, very difficult. So it's okay. It's okay to
It's going to
start.
get better.
Yeah, it's okay to start afresh anytime.
Okay, so now that we've almost come to the end of the podcast, we host a rapid fire where we ask you to choose either or all.
Okay.
So I have some rapid fire questions for you today. So tell me, you have to be quick and rapid. Mountains or beaches?
Mountains.
Books or podcasts?
Books.
Deadline rush or slow and steady?
Deadline rush.
Teaching or learning?
Learning.
Reporting from the field or working behind the scenes?
Reporting from the field all the time.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Classical music or indie vibes?
Classical music.
Mysuru mornings or Bengaluru nights?
Mysuru mornings.
Coffee with a friend or solo travel?
Coffee with a friend.
Paper bags or Kindle?
Paper bags. There's no replacement for paper bag books.
Impact or influence?
Impact.
So now that we know you, I want to ask you, what is that one thing you wish to manifest today?
I just want, I want courage. I want to be courageous to face whatever challenges life throws at me.
Okay, so it's almost the end of the podcast, and it was such an insightful conversation to have. And what do you feel today? How do you feel about our podcast, the Good Vibes Only podcast, and what do you think of it?
It was really good talking to you. I mean, I've told you so many things probably I've never shared with anybody because my I thought you put it in such a positive way about how courageous I was, or the transition. You painted it in a very positive way. Every time I have attended an interview, they've always thought, "Arey, it's not job change." People don't often see the struggle or why they
absolutely.
want to. It felt good. It felt like I felt validated today.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah.
No, I mean, a lot of people just give up and not are very scared to start. But you came from a background of journalism, and now you're happy making an impact on people who are actually unfortunate, who are not as fortunate as we are. And I think that's the best validation that you can ever ask for. So, we have ended our podcast today, and this is the episode 9 of the Good Vibes Only podcast. I hope you like the vibe of the studio and the conversation that we had. So, I will sign off today and see you in the next episode. Till then, keep watching the Good Vibes Only podcast. We bring you stories, real life stories, honest conversations. So, please help us subscribe to our channel so that we'll be able to bring more stories to life. And thank you for all the support that you've given us so far. And for that support, we were able to, make our own space, a brand new studio. So keep supporting us. I will see you in the next episode. Till then, get the good vibes rolling.